Hi, welcome to This Week in Property. I'm Jayashree Kurup, I'm editor MBTV. I have with me Prabhakar Sinha, he's the real estate editor of the Times of India. We have with us Jitendra P.S. Solanki, he's a SEBI-registered investment advisor. So you have been buying properties in the past because you could afford to. It seemed a great idea as long as the value of the property was going up. Today, properties that have been stuck for years are now coming through to completion. So we found that there's a very large percentage of people who are asset rich, but they may not have enough cash in hand for their daily expenses, to meet their mortgages. It's impacting the quality of life because you've bought so many properties when you could, and suddenly some were delayed. Suddenly there was a reversal in economic fortunes in the world, and you have seen that things are changing. So what should you do if you are asset heavy and cash poor? How can you make your real estate pay for you? Prabhakar, let's start with the first thing. When you have more houses than you're staying in, keeping it locked seems to be a bad idea, right? Because not only are you not earning from it, you're also it's an outflow. You're paying maintenance charges, property charges, water charges, right?
Yeah. Now, two things here. Now, if you have already invested in house and you have a house already which you are not using, and you don't want to put it on rent also, at the same time, the way the market is behaving, appreciation is also not happening. So, in that situation, you can do two things. Okay. Now, one thing I believe that is much better if you are an investor in real estate. So you would like to remain invested in real estate. So what you do, that you sell this property,
Yeah.
right away, and you invest it again in an under construction project with a good developer. What will happen in that case? That whatever price evaluation has to happen, that has already happened in this property, that price you realize. And then after, you invest in a property where the entire price has not come out. So, because you are not going to give it on rent. So anyway, you are not having the regular income from this property. So
Also, you have a regular outflow.
a regular outflow. So if you invest in that property, at least, when that will be completed, at least you will have appreciation.
Sure.
In this, appreciation is not happening. So one thing you can do, that to have better appreciation, and at least you can say that latent return that your money deserves, which you are not getting here, will get there. Okay, so that is the one thing you can do.
Yes.
Other thing is this, that if you are not giving it on rent, now first of all you must give it on rent, find a tenant and give it. But if you think that no, lot of hassle is there, mental problem is there, so I don't want to give it. So then in that case, I'll suggest you in this market that either you sell it and put that money in.
But this is not a seller's market. You're not realizing the real asset value because it is a last 4-5 years we haven't seen an appreciation.
No, but the issue is this, that in the next 4-5 years also in the horizon, I don't see that much appreciation is going to happen. Now at least when this money, whatever money you are getting, you are putting in some other asset, you are getting a return of 9 to 10%, 8 to 10%. So in 5 years, that will become 40-45% return. So if you are getting out here, suppose 50 lakh of rupees, so you will get another 25 lakh of rupees. So you will have 75 lakh rupees there. But here in this case, you are stuck and you are going nowhere. Neither you are having any regular income from this. So why would you like to continue with this property in that case?
Right. Jitendra, I'll come to you. But help us understand, what would you advise people who have assets but who are currently facing a cash crunch? What should they do with that asset that they have?
Okay, so there are two options for families here. So one is obviously if I am a cash poor, I need money for meeting my monthly expenses, but I have a lot of properties which is not generating me enough income. So one way is that I can sell some of them and invest in an instrument which can realize me that monthly income which I need. The second option is also, as you said, locking it out is not a good idea. But today, if you go into the market, I've got a lot of NRIs who have given their properties to manage by professional companies. So what they do is they will manage your properties, they will put it on rent, They will manage everything. You don't have a headache of managing properties. They will cut their share of your rent and they'll pay you the rent.
How much is that? How much? What is the
I think
management fee?
the last I have done this is it was around 10 to 12% was the cut in the rent which companies were taking.
Mhm.
So with that cut, when you do not want to manage the properties and you are at probably an old age, you cannot do that. I think that's also a good idea. You can put it on rent. You give it to our professional companies to manage the properties.
Yeah. So you see, what happens is that in residential properties, the amount that you bought it at and the rental yield that you get is roughly about 1.5 to 2%,
Yeah.
max 3% if you're really lucky.
Right.
But when you give away a large percentage of that as a management fee, it has
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
eroded your wealth even further.
Right.
It's just that it's better than keeping it long term,
Yes.
right? This has been a dilemma that a lot of people face, and we are faced with two different scenarios where Prabhakar says, sell it, whatever value you get, because for the next 3-4 years we don't see a meteoric rise in property prices. So if you sell this and use part of that money to buy in the peripheral regions, then there's a checklist that we should give our consumers. If you're buying in the peripheral areas, I'll come to you, Prabhakar. The second thing that Jitendra is saying is, if you have a asset, instead of keeping it fallow, not used, unused, give it to a property manager who will take a share, a management fee from you, but at least the outflow is managed and the property is in use, so it doesn't spoil. Right?
Yes.
These are the two things. Prabhakar, a checklist. If I'm going to, if it's something that I have to take some part of the money, invest it, what are the factors that we should consider so that we get the best asset? It's an appreciating asset.
Yeah, and first of all, you just must see that there is something other, like some destination is coming up in that area. Either good office complex is coming up, new development is happening, new bridge or new road is coming up, which will connect that area to the existing main city, and the traveling time comes down. I mean, these things you must see. And besides that, you must find out the developer from whom you are going to buy it, the credential of the developer, the RERA certificate, all those things. I mean, that thing is given. I'm thinking that when a buyer going to buy a flat, he is going to check all these items.
So let's spell those out. One of the things Prabhakar says is you should have good transport linkages to commercial hotspots, to entertainment hotspots, to some other hotspots, so that there is a value associated with that
Yeah.
transport link. The second thing that you're saying is that it should be with a developer who has good credentials. Now, even developers, all developers have delayed projects right now, but there are certain developers who have managed to keep the credentials going, that their property still commands a premium in the market, in that local micro market. Those are the developers who have gone for quality, who have gone for maintenance, who are post-delivery maintenance, and who have also created communities of buyers who become their best supporters, their best PR. And those are the companies that you should go with, right?
Exactly.
A third thing is that if buy in the format that has good market value. For instance, we notice that if today the demand is for something like 20 lakhs to about 70 lakhs is a hot selling property
Yeah.
in the market, and is likely to remain so, because India is a very young labor force whose propensity to buy is not to buy palatial apartments, but apartments which have amenities, which means that you don't mind a shrinking space, but you must have good amenities. And those are properties which, if you buy today, you're buying at the launch prices.
Yeah, exactly.
And as it appreciates, it's easier to sell off, and it is also
When it will be
appreciates.
completed, by that time the price will go up, and latent value that your money got locked up and you are not realizing it, that you will realize in this property.
Right.
So instead of giving it on rent, you can do this here. At least you are not going to lose your peace of mind, because whether your tenant is going to vacate or not. But make sure of it that the developer is going to complete that house. Try to find out from the RERA office also, that the RERA website also, whether that project is registered or not, and what stage it is construction, whether they are filing their returns to the RERA authority regularly or not. All those kind of due diligence you must do before
Yes.
doing that. But once you have done that, then your headache of that what your tenant is giving, at least that will be over, particularly in the North Indian market.
Right.
In the South Indian market, still it is very regular. I mean, it is regulated market, and I believe that the tenants are not giving that kind of a trouble as it is in the North India. So in the North Indian market, this they must do. In South Indian market, they put it on rent, I believe, because rental income.
It's not only residential. I have met a lot of families who have invested in a lot of commercial spaces, and they are reaching an old age, and commercial space, I mean the office leasing spaces, they have put it on rent, and comfortably for last almost 7 years they are getting that rental income. So it's not only residential market we're looking at. So if you're looking at reinvestment and I'm looking at earning that rental income, the commercial market can give me more rental income.
Okay, as a retail consumer, when I go for a commercial investment, would you like to give me a checklist that our consumers will find useful?
Okay, so when I'm going into a commercial market, first of all I have to see is that what is the area, what is the locality where the commercial office, whether it's a shop or whether I'm looking at in a shopping mall, it's an office
So
space.
split it into shops and offices so that we can, because both of them behave very
Yes.
differently.
So one is the shop, okay, where maybe in a residential locality you might have a shop, which will get it on rent. Okay, now one is that. Now there, there's a lot of checks and balances are required. What is the area of that shop? What is the locality? What other shops have been worked there? Whether they have been successful or not. Okay, and I'll have to manage most of the things, right? Probably because there is not going to be no manager who's going to manage the shop. So how I'm going to manage that? If I'm comfortable in that. So I have to do
Also,
that.
what is the neighborhood coming up? If there's a new clutch of residential houses coming up in that area.
Like you look at today, so a lot of residential houses, high-rise are coming up. You have the residential and in front of it, you have all the commercial market. So probably they are working much better rather than opening a shop in an area where you don't have much of commercial space. The second option is the office leasing space. You have a primary business park where this office space is there which you can buy, okay, and you put it on rent. There you might fetch a good rent plus the rental. Tenant stays much longer because the tenants are probably the offices, right? So that way you can look at it, which of these options is good for me where I can get a good rental income and which one of these I can manage more better.
And it is better to leave the leasing rights with the property manager?
Yes.
The common property manager rather than have hold the leasing rights
because,
yourself?
see, at what age you are in this city or you're in another city, right? How you're going to manage that? So if I'm in a shop, I might face a situation where tenant vacate, as early maybe in 2 years, every 2 years I have to find a tenant. But if I'm in an office leasing space, in a business park, I might get a tenant for much longer years, so I'm more comfortable.
Sure. There is a couple of questions that have started coming. We'll take some questions. Vijay Mathur of Delhi says, I have a property in South Delhi which I wanted to rent out, but since it is unsafe, I don't want to do that now. What can I do so that I have some income from this house? My kids live in USA and they have no plans to come back to India. Now this is where globally one of the things that people have opted for is the reverse mortgage. Now this is something that we are going to discuss in great detail here, because in the Indian market the reverse mortgage did not work. Jitendra, would you like to tell us briefly tell us what is the reverse mortgage process?
Okay, so reverse mortgage is kind of a loan given it to you, right? Where it is a loan given by the bank to you. So it's
against the property.
Against the property. So if you have to, just to explain in a simple language, the way you take a home loan. Okay, so home loan is given to you where you have to repay to the bank. Here the bank is going to pay you against the property. So you have this reverse mortgage. Now reverse mortgage come in two forms. One is the reverse mortgage loan and one is the reverse mortgage annuity. A reverse mortgage loan is a loan given to you by a bank for maybe 5 years, 10 years, 15 years or 20 years. Right? And you have to repay that loan after a certain period. And the other one is the reverse mortgage loan annuity, where you get a lifetime annuity from an insurance company which the banks has got a tie-up. Right? So both these options are available.
It gives you money as long as you live.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Prabhakar, why hasn't the reverse mortgage taken off in India?
Now, two things here that particularly in both the case basically they give it time period. Okay, like loan for 20 years or annuity either for 20 years, but you have the right to live in that house for perpetuity till the borrower is alive, he or his spouse or her spouse is alive. But the problem is that money that you get out of that is minuscule, hardly anything. I will give you one example. And how do they calculate it? Suppose your house is worth 1 crore of rupees. Now, 1 crore of rupees they will not give you right away. What they will say that at the 10% is the current rate of interest. So I will discount this 1 crore rupees your house for at least 20 years. That is the repayment period, the payment period.
Yeah.
And what is the worth of the value of that house today in 20 years horizon?
Yeah.
So that comes out to be at 10% discounting rate, 14 lakh 70,000 rupees, around 14
Something that has a current value of 1 crore.
Yeah, crore, 14 lakh 86,000 rupees, because he is going to realize, bank is going to realize the money from that house only after selling that house. And that house will be sold for 1 crore rupees, and they will take it is what is the price today, that is the price remaining at 20 years also. So if 14 lakh 86,000 rupees is given today, at 10% rate, that will become 1 crore after 20 years. So they will give only 14 lakh 86,000 rupees. Now, that money, out of that, you can keep some money, they will give you some money right away, like say 5 lakh of rupees they will give you right away. Remaining money, 9 lakh of rupees or 10 lakh of rupees, they will say that I will give you in the annuity form. Now, normally the banks are giving annuity at the rate of 6% only. That means that your money is earning only 6%. And at 6% annuity, the 10 lakh rupees, even if suppose that entire amount you are putting it on annuity, that will earn only around 10,000 rupees. Okay? 10,500 rupees.
So if you have a property of about 1 crore and you put it on reverse mortgage, what you're getting as an annuity for the next 20 years is roughly about 10,000
10,050 to 500 rupees only, or 11,000 rupees. And that's up to 20 years. Now after 20 years, they will stop paying you that amount
Right.
also. But you can continue to live.
Yeah.
Now suppose in between every 5 years, they will come back to you and they will review that entire thing and revalue the property. Now if your property price suppose gone up by 1 crore to 1 crore 20 lakh, 1 crore 15 lakh, whatever amount, so that additional amount 20 lakh for that also, they will create an annuity for you.
Okay.
But again through the reverse mortgage methodology,
Yeah.
That is, they will do discounting for 15 years now because they'll have to pay for 15 years.
Yes.
So 15 years discounting they will do, and accordingly they will pay you that additional amount.
Okay.
Again, after 5 years, they will again revalue that property, and whatever additional property comes in, they will pay you. If there is no addition, there is no increment in the property price, still they will not cut your annuity thing. That will be continued. Whatever once have been decided, that will continue, that will not be reduced. And after 20 years or 30 years, whenever you are vacating, or suppose by any chance both the borrowers died, then bank will sell that property and realize that money with interest and everything. And if suppose the realized value is more than what they have given with interest, then the remaining amount will be given to the hire of that person. Or otherwise, if hire will be given the first choice. First, that if they want to settle that amount, then they can settle the amount and they can take the house. Okay? Or otherwise, whatever surplus service will go to them. But if bank could not realize that entire amount, then bank cannot create charge to anybody. Bank will lose that amount. So that's how it functions.
Okay. And as of now, it doesn't seem to be a whole lot of money that your asset gets for you from the reverse mortgage process, because the bank covers its risk so entirely that the consumer's risk is left exposed.
Yeah. Now, only thing is this, that this is very good only in the market where there is illiquid market, where the property is not getting sold completely, suppose, and you need regular income like that. So then people normally go for it. They say that, okay, fine, whatever nominal money is coming, and bank is thinking that, okay, in the next 20 years, market will come up and we will be able to sell it.
Right.
So the bank also go for that. But otherwise, if it is a good property and a good locality, I believe still today that it is better to sell that property.
Move into something that you need,
Need.
which is smaller,
Smaller.
and use the remaining money
Yeah.
to save for yourself.
Exactly.
Let's so when Vijay Mathur asks that he's got a big property in South Delhi and he needs money, some income from the house, but he's not sure that he can manage the
Yeah,
leasing.
I'll advise him that in that kind of a situation, you sell that property and invest in the REIT, embassy REIT. REIT is also a kind of investment in real estate only. And you are going to have a very good return, at least 7-8% from your principal amount.
Yeah.
Now, whatever you are earning today is not even 1.5 to 2% of your total capital value. So, now if you have so much love for that house, then it is a difficult
If you're an
story.
investor, don't be emotional.
Yeah.
If you are
Yes.
if you are an investor, you need money. Remember that this property, you're already older, and that's why you're considering that you don't need this
Yeah.
property. So
Now
don't
enjoy
get
the fruit of it.
yeah, and therefore, if you want to unlock its value, whether you have to sell, whether you have to downsize it, these are things that you should be willing to consider if you want to unlock the value of that house. But now let's go to the second question. There is Mohit Sharma of Gurugram who says, "What does this loan have to be paid back? If I take now at the age of 70, when do I pay back?" Reverse mortgage, you don't pay back, right?
Yeah, reverse mortgage you don't pay back at all. Now you can have a tenure of 20 years. So till 90 they will continue to pay the annuity. Now even after 90, suppose, if you are alive, then you can live in that house. Nobody will ask you to vacate the house till you are alive.
Yeah.
But only thing is this, that after you, if your hire wants to reclaim that house, then he will have to pay that entire amount with interest, and the interest is normally 10% in the present market condition. We don't know after 5 years what is going to happen, but in the present market condition, he'll have to pay at the 10% per annum kind of a rate, and then his house will be his. If he doesn't pay, then the bank will auction that house, will sell that house in the market, and whatever money is realized, they will settle it against their own loan given to the borrower, to him, or
If anything is left
Left-
over, it goes to the
Yeah.
heirs.
Yeah.
If you have heirs, it goes to the
Yeah.
heirs or whoever is your nominee.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, there is a difference between when you take an RML and when you take an RML annuity.
Spell that out for
Okay,
the consumer.
one is the reverse mortgage loan, which you are taking it from the bank. The bank is giving you a loan.
Right.
The other one is an option where the bank is giving you an tying up with an insurance company, and the company is paying you annuity.
Mm.
The contract, there is a 3-party contract, and this is a 2-party contract. In an RML, since bank is giving you a loan, okay, the option comes in where you have to repay the loan.
Yeah.
Okay, after 20 years period, and after that, then you have to repay the loan to get. In an RML annuity option, okay, so there are 3 options given to the buyer. So one is you get a lifetime annuity till you are living.
Yeah.
The second one is there is a lifetime annuity but with return of purchase price by the insurance company.
Yeah.
And the third one is that is again a return of purchase price. In this case, the purchase price is taken by the bank.
Mhm.
The difference between that, in an RML, the bank is only going to what you are going to pay is the principal amount back.
Yeah. But
Okay.
in a reverse mortgage, you're not paying back anything.
I mean, the bank is going to recover by selling the
Yes,
house.
yes.
In an RML annuity, the bank is going to take the entire purchase price. Okay, whether it covers the principal plus anything else.
Yeah.
So that's a difference. But in an annuity, you are able to get a lifetime annuity from that product.
Yeah.
And the one advantage which government gave is that they made annuity tax free.
Mhm.
So even if you get at a 7% annuity, the 7% is tax free. So even if you are in a 30% tax bracket, in an RML annuity, you are getting a 7% post tax, income.
Okay. So there is no tax that you have to pay on this.
I mean, the annuity is so low
It's-
that, I mean,
I
there is
get
no
it. I get it. I get it.
that's to be paid.
Now this Naresh Kumar, he has a flat in Greater Noida. He lives in it. He's in urgent need of 30 lakhs as he has to pay for his son's education in the UK. Should he sell this flat or take a loan? What other schemes can I make use of?
Oh, so you should sell the house. Taking the loan, because now I'll explain it to you. Now suppose whatever the house worth today, 50 lakhs, 60 lakhs. Now if he's selling that house and paying him 30 lakh rupees, and then remaining 30 lakh rupees he can invest somewhere, I can keep it. Now if he borrows 30 lakh rupees from somewhere, then he'll have to pay an interest at least of 10%.
Right.
Okay. So 3 lakh rupees per annum interest he'll have to pay on that money. Now, suppose repayment period is 5 years. Now, in 5 years of itself, you'll have to pay substantial interest. Now, this total amount in 5 years or 7 years will become, if there is not appreciation, at least of 5% in that property, he is going to lose on both the count.
Right.
Yes, ideally he'll end up paying, I mean, sometimes when we take a home loan, we see that we end up paying double the value of the property. Okay, so if you take a 30 lakh loan and you end up paying 40 lakhs,
Yeah, 40 lakh, 40 lakh, no
there is
point.
no point, in taking that loan. So the best option is that you sell the property.
But remember, the rider is that he's living in this property.
No,
Which
it's
means,
not-
yes,
no.
Yes, yes. He says, I live in a flat in Greater Noida. I'm in urgent need of 30 lakh. As I have to pay.
Then you don't have option actually. We
Then he
look at
should
that what are the
borrow.
options.
Then he should borrow.
So better
Against the property?
lab
Whatever,
properties,
suppose if he has income to borrow the money for education.
Well,
There are two options for you. Either you can
Education
take
loan.
a education
loan
loan.
is also an
How
option.
much do you pay for on education loans? What is the rate of interest?
Very low.
Education loan is very low and plus you get the tax benefit
Yeah, tax
also.
benefit
So
also.
the most
So
beneficial
maybe
would be education
instead of making your asset pay for you, what your son should do is take an education loan, which is a very low rate of interest, and there is a tax-free period, payment moratorium period while he's studying. After he finishes studying, he has to start paying.
There
that.
he can put his house on guarantee because the bank asks for guarantee.
And yeah, the way you can make your house pay is by taking putting your house as a guarantee to that education loan of 30 lakh.
Yeah.
If you do that, you have a house to stay in. You're paying a much lower percentage of interest.
One consideration, he might not get an education loan of 30 lakhs because the
Whatever
bank has a
amount he
limit.
will-
So whatever limit, so suppose he's able to get 15-20 lakh, so he can take that with education loan. The benefit is that one is
He'll
the
get
moratorium period,
moratorium
period,
for
plus
5 years.
whatever interest he's paying, he can take it under income tax deduction. So he's paying less income tax, and plus he can pay it in the annual 8 years period.
Here I would like to say, both of you suggested that he should sell. Let's assume this was not the house he was living in. If he sells that house, he has to pay a capital gains
Yeah.
or buy another house.
Yeah.
How does that work? So how much
No,
money
for
will
another house if he is buying,
Yeah.
now suppose, then he might not.
Yeah.
Because if you are buying another house by selling this house
Yeah.
to live only, then you don't have to pay capital gains tax up to 50 lakh of rupees.
So there are two options. One is he can invest in another house
Yeah.
and he will not pay any capital gain tax, or whatever gains he has made, he invests into a capital gain bonds and he won't have to pay any capital
So
gain
the
tax.
amount of gains is what you're putting
Yes.
in. Whatever you've gained from this, that means at what rate you bought the house and how much profit you have made. That if you put into a capital gains account, then you don't have to pay.
So it's an indexed cost which will
Yes.
calculate it, so the capital gain will be lower.
And you do need some help in computing your capital
Yes.
gains. But if that amount you can put into a capital gains account and use the rest of the money to service your son's loan,
Yeah.
that would help you.
Yeah.
There's Ajit Kumar of Pune who says, I want to borrow at least 20 lakh for my medical expenses by mortgaging my house. Are there limits on how I can use the money?
No.
No, under LAP, no. Loan against property, no limit. You can utilize for any
Any
consideration.
In fact, I'll give you the example of an NRI who had 4th stage of cancer and had a house that had appreciated from 20 lakh to about 2.75 crore. And they took a loan against property, and the Indian government actually allows you to repatriate the entire amount overseas if it is for medical expenses. And as a result, he made the property pay for him, and he could spend.
Yeah.
He could pay for his medical expenses.
Yes.
And this is one of the ways why people say that you should have property, because property was the only one of the few assets which would have given him this volume of instant cash. There is Kiranpreet Goswami of Mumbai who says, does obtaining a reverse mortgage mean the bank owns the home? When I die, will the bank take over this property and sell it?
Two options here. That first of all, the property right now belongs to bank. You are just living in that. Okay. Now, bank now gives one option to you that if your hire wants to settle the loan, then he settles the loan, he takes the house back.
Right.
That option bank gives.
Yeah.
But suppose this or her doesn't want that house and he is not settling that loan,
Yeah.
then bank has no option but to sell that property and realize its money.
And realize it's money, and whatever's extra
Exactly.
goes back to the
Right.
nominee. Now, I think a lot of people want to know more about this. There's Priyanka Kaur of Chandigarh who says, can people who have no kids to pay back this loan borrow it?
Yeah.
Anyone can borrow.
Anyone can
There's no
Remember, you are
condition
not
like that.
paying back. This is you have paid for an asset while you were working and you had money to pay the interest, the EMIs. When you have finished paying that and that house is now free of a mortgage, but you don't have cash in hand, but you have an asset which is valuable,
In which
you-
you are living also.
in which you're living also, you and your spouse can say that as long as we live, we want to get a small amount of cash in
Regular.
hand, but we want to stay in the house. And you can stay in that house till you and your spouse, your term of life. But that amount that is given to you is only for 20 years, right?
20 years, and now if you go to an insurance company to give that amount and want lifelong annuity, that also you can get.
Okay. So
But
it
that's
is
also an
you take your loan from the bank that is giving you the reverse mortgage. You have the option of either, like Jitendra said, getting it linked to an
REML.
insurance.
It's called an REMEL, reverse mortgage linked annuity.
Yeah.
So the bank has already tied up with the
Yes.
insurance company. So the bank will give the loan money to the insurance company
Yeah.
and buy an annuity for you. You get an annuity from the insurance company, and whenever you die, whatever purchase price is returned by the insurance company, that will be taken by the bank.
Right.
Okay, so that way it works.
And just to make it clear, you don't have to pay anything if you go
Yeah.
on reverse mortgage.
Yeah.
It's just that the amount of money that you get on a regular basis is very small because there is a
annuity are also two types. One
Yeah.
annuity is this, that okay, if I die in between, suppose the annuity is for 20 years period,
Yeah.
but suppose I die in 10th or 15th years only, then remaining amount goes to my son, okay, or my daughter,
Yeah.
whosoever my nominee. Another annuity is that I have no nominee and I don't want to give it to anybody. I say that no, it is just for my life.
yeah.
So then the amount that you're going to get is a bit higher.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because then that risk of the bank to give it to the
Yeah.
is not there.
Yeah.
So they'll give you a bit higher.
Okay.
So you choose for that. That I don't have any nominee, I don't want to give it to anybody.
Right.
So
I want to earn the money and live as long as I
as
live.
long as I- so then bank will give you that kind of
Right.
annuity.
There is Jatin Singh of Noida who lives with his parents who have a reverse mortgage loan. What should I do when they pass away? Am I liable to pay back this loan even if I can't?
No, not necessary. You leave the house.
The house is with the bank. If you want that house back, you have to pay back the loan and retrieve the house.
Yeah.
If you feel at that point that you don't want to, you don't have the money to pay back, you can, the bank will sell the house and whatever remaining amount, if there is a remaining amount, will be given to you as the heir.
Yeah.
And you can decide what you want to do at that point of time. But there is no pressure on you
To settle it.
to settle the loan.
But if you don't want to settle it, but then you will not get your house back.
Yeah.
Brijesh Pandey of Patna says, how is an RML different from other mortgage loans?
Other mortgage loan. Now, other mortgage loan, in that repayment starts from the day one.
Yeah.
Like if you are taking a lab,
Mhm.
so you are putting your own house on mortgage. So then you must have the repayment capacity also,
Yeah.
and bank will see to it that you have a repayment capacity.
Yeah.
Then only bank will give you the loan on that house, and then you'll have to repay the loan continuously.
Yeah.
And if you will not be able to repay, suppose you have defaulted, then bank will give you a notice, and after a certain period, bank will ask
Attach
you to
your
evict the
house.
house and attach your house,
Yeah.
the mortgage house, and then they will sell that mortgage house first, whatever the house they have
Yeah,
mortgaged.
yeah.
Interestingly, bank will sell that property, try to recover the entire money. But suppose bank is not able to get that entire money back, then for remaining money, they'll come to you. They'll
Yeah.
say that, boss, I have not been able to realize this entire money, so now you pay this
Yeah.
remaining amount.
Yeah.
And you'll have to pay it, otherwise bank will go to the court again and ask you to attach and get the order to attach your remaining property. So you are in that situation. But in RML, nothing of that sort will happen. Only thing is this, that once borrower dies, bank will just ask you, sir, come up, now this house is yours, provided you pay this entire amount that your parents have taken.
Right.
Now, if you say that no, I'm not interested in this house, please sell it and I will realize it. If the surplus remains, then you give it to me. Then you say, fine,
Yeah.
I'll do that. So it's good like that. So it's better. I mean, now look, what is better, you can't say it because in the reverse mortgage, you will not get much amount.
Yeah. The amount that you get is small.
Is
In
small.
mortgage, the amount that you get
Yeah.
is much larger.
Much.
But in a mortgage, you have to pay back. In a reverse mortgage, you don't have to pay back.
Like,
In
I'll just give an example. Like 1 crore rupee property. If you are going to take a land, then 20% they will keep the margin.
yeah,
Up to 80 lakh, some banks 60 lakh, some banks up to 80 lakh will give you the loan.
yeah,
Okay. Now on 60 or 80 lakh, whatever EMI is there, you'll have to pay regularly.
yeah.
But if you're going for reverse mortgage, you will get only for 1 crore 14 lakh of rupees or 20 lakh rupees.
Yeah.
That's all.
Right. And the amount you get is very small, much smaller than what you get in a mortgage. But what happens is that you don't have to pay back, and
Exactly.
it will see you through your life.
Yeah.
If your problem is that you can't work now, you need regular income. It's a small income, but it will be for life for you and your spouse. There is Suresh Katiyar of Kolkata. What are the eligibility criteria for availing this loan?
Nothing. You should have a house free from any encumbrance. The house should be in your name. You should be 60 years of age minimum. Your spouse should be 55 years of age. And minimum 60. If you are 70, it's fine, doesn't matter. And your spouse should be of more than 55 years of age. Then you can put your house on reverse mortgage. You can go to bank and ask the bank that, okay, I want to put it on reverse mortgage, value it, and give me my money, and start my annuity. Bank
So
will-
there is no income criteria or anything
Nothing.
or financial. There is no criteria of that.
Because it is a scheme that is made for older people,
Yeah.
for people who do not have the earning capacity, and who can how can you make your real estate pay for you?
Yeah, and who's doesn't have a regular income.
Doesn't have a regular income, and remember that as long as you live, you need regular needs.
Yeah,
You have regular needs and you need regular income.
and if your child really wants that house, otherwise he should keep you doing that regular income. Otherwise, you can say that, bye, I want to sell it.
Yes. There's Tushar Sharma of Gurugram who says, how will the value of the house be calculated? How will the bank assess it? You want to take that?
There are valuers in the market. He can
Yes,
explain it
so
better.
there are valuers, professional valuers in the market, right? Whose services bank utilize. They'll come, they'll value the house, and that value, and they are government valuers, right? Authorized valuers.
Let's also tell people what are the terms of the value. The last sold price in that locality is normally a benchmark, or the quoted prices in that locality is a benchmark when you're assessing the value. It doesn't matter what you bought at, but what are properties like yours selling in that locality is
Yes.
one
Yes.
critical factor.
Yeah.
The quality of the house, how have you maintained it? Is it a broken down, run down building? Then the amount of value that you get out of that asset will be less.
Yes.
Good maintenance of your real estate asset, if you are planning to put it into the reverse mortgage, is good for you. The third thing that is important is there are different local conditions. For instance, in the south, a Vastu-friendly house fetches a better value. In the north, a south or a east-facing house fetches better value because there is a winter here, and getting sunshine in your house is very important. These are local factors. Also remember that if your house has, if you've done up your house better, you've done good woodwork, you've enhanced the quality of that asset, it pays in terms of valuation.
Yes.
Exactly. Now, stamp duty has some factor into it and some importance, but in many markets, particularly all over India,
Yes.
the stamp duty rate is higher than the
Circle
market
rate.
Circle rate, yeah. Circle rate is higher than the market rate, but that doesn't mean that bank will value it at the circle rate.
Yeah.
Right.
Bank will value it at the going market.
At the actively traded market rate.
Yeah.
And one of the banks I've seen the condition is that property insurance should be there.
Yeah.
You know, most of the people don't buy property insurances.
Okay.
You know,
So that anybody anytime can buy it,
Yes.
and it's not very costly affair. 10,000 rupees you can have an
Mhm.
insurance of any property.
Yes.
But an insured property is what Jitendra is saying. An insured property fetches better value, right?
Yeah.
Um,
No, unless you have not got the insurance, you cannot reverse mortgage.
Okay.
You'll have to get
Ah,
the
that's
insurance.
what I said. It's a primary condition that
Primary
you need
condition.
to have a property insurance. Most of the people don't take a property insurance, consider.
But that one can buy any time. It doesn't mean that suppose till now you have not insurance.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that you cannot buy it. You go to a retail insurance or any insurance today, and you can have an insurance.
Yeah.
Anytime. And amount is very minuscule.
Yeah.
Very minuscule amount.
So Anuj Chaudhary of Faridabad is asking, what are the costs involved in availing the reverse mortgage loan?
No cost.
Okay.
Only thing is this, that amount that you are going to get is very small. But there is no cost involved.
There is no
at all.
upfront cost for you,
Yeah.
other than if your house is not insured, you have to insure it.
Yeah, no.
But that is also part of the deal, right?
No, some cost is also
Some
there,
cost is like bank charges or
bank
processing
charges,
fee,
processing
0.5% or something, a
Yeah,
processing
that is
fee
what
and
it is.
stamp duty or
10,000 rupees cap.
smaller
those
cost
kind
would
of
be there,
things there.
but not a major cost where you should be, very
But
worried
remember
about.
that somebody who only has an asset and is going to the bank to avail of a loan may not have that, even that cash. So what he's asking is do I have to have cash to avail of
10,
more cash?
15,000 rupees at least, because processing charge of 0.5% of the loan value. I
It's
mean,
a
whatever
one-time
is the-
upfront charge
Yeah.
which comes in.
Or otherwise 10,000 rupees. Some bank has kept it at a cap of 10,000 rupees.
Mhm.
Now even if he has a loan, so going to take a loan of 50 lakh of rupees, so he'll have to pay only 10,000 rupees. Only these two charges they'll have to pay.
Okay.
No stamp duty, nothing of that sort.
And remember, it's tax free. There are no taxes. So that is
Yeah, no, but suppose now at the time of settlement, now bank sells that property,
Yeah.
then there will,
Capital
if capital gains is
tax
there,
will
that
arise.
capital gains is payable by the borrower.
Yes.
But if the borrower is dead,
So
If we
that's
settle, then there is no
adjusted,
taxation.
Adjusted, will be adjusted against that
and
income.
take a reverse mortgage only if you have no other means of raising regular
Exactly.
finances to
Yeah.
live.
Yeah.
If there's any other means, even if you can sell and move into a smaller house, remember that the differential between the what you sell at market rate and buy a smaller unit for your own use, you can use that money to reinvest it, and that will give you that will give you a better return than what the reverse mortgage is.
Yeah.
It's only when you have a large volume of land which you're not able to sell for whatever reasons, either you are not capable of selling it right now, you're very old or something like that, then think of reverse mortgage, because the volume of money that comes into your hand is a smaller
Very
amount.
small.
There is Amin Bilali of Kolkata who says, when does the mortgage become due for repayment? Now this means what is the tenure of the mortgage? The reverse mortgage.
Reverse mortgage could be of 20 years, that is the,
From 10 years onwards, I think it's allowed.
yeah, 10 years to 20 years, or said 5 years.
Five
Five
years to
years.
20 years.
20
5 years to 20 years, you are allowed to reverse mortgage your asset. In 5 years, you may decide that now I don't want to put it, I actually want to continue staying. Then what happens?
No. 5 years is the income period.
Yes.
Now in the reverse mortgage, you can stay till your life.
Okay.
That is not question.
But you will get money only for
Only
the
for 5
Only
years,
for
or 10 years or 20 years.
Yes.
Okay. Now maximum amount of the payment tenure by the bank directly is 20 years.
20 years.
Yeah.
But suppose if whatever money they have given you, if you are going to give it to a insurance company,
Right.
but that money will go only through the banks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because banks is not going to give you money to your,
Yeah.
bank will give money to the insurance company, and through that insurance company you can have annuity till your whole life, till one's death.
Okay.
So that's not an issue.
And any money after your death which has to come from insurance company, it will go to the bank.
Okay.
Yeah.
To recover. So your house in a way,
Yeah, you have not to worry about your house, that okay, what is going to happen, this and who's, only your hair will has to worry.
Yeah.
That
If
want to
you, but
take
in
it
many
out.
of these cases, whatever people are saying, the heirs are not interested in this property. They are either overseas or they
Then
don't have heirs.
Then give it,
And-
no, then give it to them. Yeah.
And Asthana Reddy of Chennai says, what if the borrower outlives the loan tenure? You can live in the house,
Yeah.
but
Money will not come.
money will not come, but you can live in the house. Money will come if you link it to a insurance,
Yeah.
annuity.
Yes.
Annuity through an insurance.
Yeah.
Prakash Kaushik of Ahmedabad says, who will be responsible for payment of taxes, etc., and the maintenance of the property?
Now look, you have not to worry for anything. The borrower has not to worry about anything. bank has already taken that money right at the upfront from you.
So they will pay the taxes, they will pay the
Everything.
maintenance.
Yeah. They will pay means from your property only.
Yes.
They will only pay that only from your property.
But that has been deducted upfront.
Exactly. That has already accounted for.
So you don't have to, if you
You
put
don't
it
have
on,
to.
if you put it on reverse mortgage, you don't have to pay anything else on the property.
Exactly.
The property is not a liability for you anymore.
At all. Only thing you have to maintain the house. When you are living in that, you have to maintain the house.
The way you want it.
Do you want to? Yeah.
Neeti Sharma of Delhi says, can this loan be jointly taken and what happens if one spouse dies?
No, a spouse will live.
You and your spouse are covered in a reverse
Yeah,
In a
mortgage.
reverse
exactly.
mortgage, yes.
And
Even for the annuity also.
Yeah.
Till
Both
you
are
or a
covered.
spouse, whosoever outlive, annuity will keep coming.
Right.
Only after death of both the partner, only house will go back to the
So
bank.
it's like
and then
you have taken a 20-year loan. Okay, after 5 years, the primary applicant dies. The loan will keep coming until 20 years to the second spouse. Okay, so the spouse is very well covered under both these loans.
So your spouse is also covered
Yeah.
and will be able to stay in the property and get annuity
Till life.
Till
for life.
Yeah.
जिस इंसान ने रिवर्स मॉर्गेज पर लोन लिया है उसके मरने के बाद उसके वारिस को क्या करना पड़ता है? क्या उसे भी लोन कंटिन्यू रहेगा और एल्स अगर वो प्रॉपर्टी वापस चाहता है तो क्या करना होगा? दिस इज नॉट अ लोन. रिवर्स मॉर्गेज इज नॉट अ लोन. रिवर्स मॉर्गेज इज a reverse loan, so to speak.
Yeah.
आपको पैसा मिल रहा है बैंक से, आप बैंक को रीपेमेंट नहीं कर रहे हैं. आपके प्रॉपर्टी के लिए भी आप कोई पेमेंट नहीं कर रहे हैं. बैंक आपसे पहले ही ले चुका है कि आपके प्रॉपर्टी में टैक्सेस हैं, लैंड टैक्स है, म्युनिसिपल चार्जेस हैं, सब कुछ बैंक देगा. वारिस को क्या करना चाहिए?
वारिस अगर वो प्रॉपर्टी वापस चाहता है तो जितना पैसा बैंक ने आपको दिया है अब तक, जब आपकी जिंदगी में जितना ही पैसा उसने दिया, उन सारे पैसे का इंटरेस्ट जोड़ के आपके वारिस को वो पैसा वापस करना चाहिए. अगर वो पैसा वापस कर देता है तो उसको घर मिल जाएगा. और इस केस में चूंकि घर बेचा नहीं जा रहा है तो कोई स्टाम्प ड्यूटी भी डिडक्ट नहीं होगा. लेकिन अगर आपका वारिस घर नहीं चाहता है, उस सूरत में बैंक उस संपत्ति को बेच देगा और बेचने के बाद जो भी पैसा उसको मिलता है उसमें जो आपको लोन दिया है, जो आपको पैसा दिया है, उस पैसे पे विथ इंटरेस्ट सारा कैलकुलेट करने के बाद जो बनता है वो काट लेगा. और साथ में स्टाम्प ड्यूटी जो है, जो कि जितने पैसे में आपने खरीदा था उस प्रॉपर्टी को और जितने में बिका है, इसके बीच में जो डिफरेंस है उस पे स्टाम्प ड्यूटी उस पे कैपिटल गेन्स टैक्स वो पे करेगा 20% के हिसाब से. और कैपिटल गेन्स टैक्स पे करने के बाद जो पैसा बचता है वो पैसा आपके वारिस को वापस कर देगा.
कौन कौन से बैंक्स रिवर्स मॉर्गेज करते हैं? क्या क्या डॉक्यूमेंट्स चाहिए एंड व्हाट शुड वी चेक बिफोर सिलेक्टिंग अ बैंक?
लगभग सारे ही बैंक करते हैं. एसबीआई करता है, बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा करता है,
सभी
बैंक करते हैं. सबके पास ये एक्सिस बैंक सभी करते हैं. ये आप किसी भी बैंक को बुला सकते हैं. आप उसमें देख लीजिए कि 2-3 चीज देखने वाली होती है. कुछ बैंक एन्युटी फॉर लाइफ नहीं देता, कुछ बैंक एन्युटी सिर्फ 20 साल के लिए देता है, कुछ बैंक ऐसे इंश्योरेंस कंपनी से टाइप किए हुए हैं जो कि लाइफ के लिए एन्युटी देते हैं. ये आपको चुनना पड़ेगा कि कौन सा बैंक का क्या टर्म एंड कंडीशन है और उस हिसाब से. कुछ बैंक का जो एन्युटी है वो ज्यादा अट्रैक्टिव है क्योंकि वो एन्युटी रेट ज्यादा इंटरेस्ट रेट पे देते हैं, 7% पे देते हैं, 8% पे देते हैं, कुछ 6% पे देते हैं. तो एसबीआई बहुत ही कंजर्वेटिव है, तो एसबीआई 6% पे देता है. 1 करोड़ 1 लाख की प्रॉपर्टी पे अगर जो मिला आपको 1 लाख का लोन, उसमें 100 रुपया का मिलता है. तो कुछ भी नहीं मिलता.
तो आरएमएल सभी बैंक देते हैं जो बैंक लोन देता है, लेकिन जो आरएमएल एन्युटी के साथ टाई अप है वो कुछ ही बैंक ने किया, सभी बैंक्स ने नहीं किया है. और वो कुछ ही इंश्योरेंस कंपनी के साथ टाई अप है. तो वो आपको देखना पड़ेगा कि कौन कौन से बैंक का टाई अप है और वो इंश्योरेंस कंपनी किस रेट पे वो एन्युटी दे रही है.
Okay, I have a very interesting question here. Is reverse mortgage only for real estate, or can we reverse mortgage cars and jewelry as well?
No.
Now I'll tell you the logic, and there is a clear logic.
Jewelry is, these are fungible assets. You can sell it anytime in the market. This is an indexed property.
Real estate is a immovable asset. Real estate is an appreciating asset, and that is why real estate, and it has already its value can be realized over a period of time. Its value stays for a period of time. A car after 3 years or 5 years is a depreciating asset. Therefore, you
After
cannot,
15 years, it has zero value.
Zero value.
and therefore the bank gets nothing out of it. Real estate, on the other hand, the land on which your real estate is, the real estate itself has a certain value, which is what the bank will unlock when on your death, and that's why you get it. Jewelry is a very liquid asset. You can sell it at any point of time, and that's why you can.
One thing, what the people do mistaken here, that they think that whatever jewelry I have, that make, no,
Yeah.
the bank will keep it like that.
Yeah.
And after 10 years, they will return it.
Yeah.
Like,
Like necklaces and
yeah.
bangles
And
all.
like many banks are nowadays charging
Gold
on this gold loan for 2%. They
Yes.
think that they will just take 2% and they will return my necklace. It's not like that. Once you have given this jewelry, they will melt it, they will convert it into a gold, and after that period, 10 years or 20 years, when you are coming, they will return you that gold,
Equivalent gold.
equivalent gold.
It may not be what you.
Exactly. Or otherwise, the rate of interest will be very high.
Yes. Reverse mortgage should be taken up. Should be only taken when all other options are right.
Yes.
Yeah, because return is very low.
Yes, and primarily reverse mortgage is for people who don't have anything to bank upon. They have only one real estate where they are living. They have nowhere means to money coming in. So then they can realize the value of that house where they are living till their lifetime. So ideally, reverse mortgage option is for those kind of situations where you have other real estate and where you have some surplus cash. I think you can get better returns from other investment avenues and can fetch a better income.
So if you have two houses, one that you're living in and one that is locked up,
Yeah.
should you reverse mortgage the house or sell it?
No, I'll give you an option. If I sell that house, get the money, and even if I invest in the mutual fund to fetch a monthly income, I still have much better income coming in. Plus, I'll keep the surplus, even after 10 years. But that's we do for retirees, right?
Yeah.
We invest the money into a debt mutual fund, generate a monthly income,
Yeah.
and after 10 years, we see still my corpus is almost 80% of corpus is there.
The principal is.
Principal is there, so you are fetching much better returns from there.
Sure. There is
And even
Ankur.
if suppose you want to remain invested in real estate, invest in REITs,
Yes.
Yes.
buy REITs.
And REITs, real estate investment trusts, are a way of almost like the SIPs of real estate, where you can put whatever money you want to buy units of the REITs. And as the real estate market pays better returns, you get your dividend. And that gives you much better returns, and you can sell it, trade in it as you do
Exactly.
with stock.
It's like, so REIT, very soon we will see the REIT mutual funds coming in.
Yeah.
So you will have a REIT mutual fund, better way to invest into real
That's
estate.
right. That's right. Dr. Ankur Dhoka has said, I have a flat near upcoming metro station in Pune. Shall I hold it or shall I sell it? Will I get more returns in the future? Wherever there is a metro,
Yeah.
we see a price jump
appreciate.
of 10 to 25%.
Yes.
Delhi is the city which has the best metro network in the country, and wherever the metro station comes, we've seen a jump in prices both for rental as well as capital values. Don't sell, hold on to your property.
And Pune is a very spread out
Yes.
city.
Yeah.
Now distance is very long.
Yeah.
So in that kind of a city, traveling is a big issue, and the metro is going to solve that issue.
It will become a lifeline.
Lifeline, and so the appreciation will be zabardast.
And the last question for this morning, Yogesh Kumar of Faridabad. If the property is in the name of wife, then can the husband take a loan?
Husband, take a
Or
loan.
what loan? Reverse mortgage.
If it is reverse mortgage, it will be, you will have to have a joint.
No, I think it's not talking about reverse
No,
mortgage. You're
no.
talking
Even
about
the
taking
wife
a
has
loan.
to sign the paper.
Yes.
When the wife is ready to sign the paper, you can take the loan. Now, if wife is not ready to sign that paper,
Then you can't take it.
See, any loan where if it is talking about reverse mortgage, so wife will get a reverse mortgage.
Yes.
You're talking about any other loan, right?
but she should be agreeable to that.
Yes.
But she's going for
And if your spouse is the first buyer, you probably will be the nominee or you will be the joint buyer. Those are the conditions that normally persist in the
Obviously.
market. So of course you can take a loan, but why would you not want to take it in your wife's name if she's agreeable? Because ultimately the spouse is covered. It doesn't say husband or wife.
The issues you will face is related to income tax purposes, because from income tax purposes, so even if I take a housing loan, I'm not the owner, but I'm taking a loan, I do not get the tax benefit. So what problem you will face is from the income tax perspective. Otherwise, yes, bank will give you loan.
Okay.
Bank won't say no.
Sure, sure. And that's where I'm going to close this show. We ran a poll. Do you know how to use your real estate in a financial crisis? Just 30% said yes. 70% of people feel that if I have a real estate asset, it is illiquid, I can't sell it, and I don't know how to make it pay for me. The reason we did this show is so that we can bring you some of the options that you can that can make your real estate pay for you at a pinch. Thank you for watching This Week in Property. I'm Jayashree Kurup, Prabhakar Sinha, and Jitendra Solanki.
Thank you.
Thank you.